free to keep getting whatever you want and ease out if you need to on the side. Basically, you know, we have a couple of different things. We're going to get started in here and just go through kind of the formal presentation with your friends and family, and you know, talking about why you're inducted. Some people have different types of people and talking about them, and we're just super glad that everybody was able to make it. Once we're done with that, we'll transition down to the football field. Some will transition over to the softball field because we've got a presentation we want to make over there before we go down to the football field. But underneath the press box is where we actually have our Hall of Fame set up now. And we'll want to make sure that we get a group picture with the representative of the family or the person themselves before we get out of here, and everybody goes their separate ways tonight. But of course, we want you to stay for the game. With that being said, we're going to get started with Coach Tim Barron.
Good afternoon, and thank you guys for coming and attending, the families and friends of the people being inducted tonight. Before I begin, I can't give enough thanks and praise to Coach Shane Lassiter, anybody that's been around this program, seeing the changes that are taking place in the athletic department, you know, is a direct reflection of him and his work ethic. You know, he is our servant leader, and we are so grateful to have him. And thank you, Miss Kay, Miss Amanda, Miss Bonner, all you guys back there that's doing all this work to make this night happen. Now, I'll be kind of brief because we do got a football game we got to get to, and you know, some people ask, well, how can you be up here when the game's going on? But you know, when you got a staff like we got and they do their job, you know, that job takes place Monday through Thursday. There's not a whole lot we can do from this point on except get them lined up, hopefully call the right plays. But hopefully we'll execute well tonight and play good, and you guys will get to hang out for it. Well, today I get to introduce three people that are very important to me and I'm awfully proud of, and I'll start with none other than Ross Henry. In 1971, Ross entered high school at Hurt County High School, and at that time the high school didn't even have a football team. In his freshman year he played baseball, basketball, and ran track. Talking to him the other day, he was discussing that since they didn't have a football program, that his father had talked about taking him and his brother to Newton and playing for Max Bass. But thankfully for us, that Hurt County started the football program in 1972, where he was the quarterback. During the rest of his high school career, he played varsity football, baseball, basketball, and track. With all the blood, sweat, and tears that Ross poured into the school as a player, it does not compare to what he's done for our kids in our community since then. He has volunteered countless hours as well as made many donations to our athletic program. As sheriff of Hurt County, he has used that position to lift up our kids in every way possible. Ross is one of the few people who understand that small mistakes of youth should not have deep impact on the possibility of building a quality life. Ross Henry understands when to pour on the heat and when to show compassion. When people talk about the positive change that have occurred in our school system, you better believe that Ross Henry has played a huge part in it. I now present to you Hall of Famer Sheriff Ross Henry.
I'll say a couple words. You're mighty kind, Coach Barron, and I thank you for those kind words. First of all, let me say I had a couple of bullet points I had down here and was going to talk about, but let me say how good it is to see my cousin Sandra and Don Staples, and I hope they claim me. I'm into them. And I hadn't seen them in a while. I'm so glad y'all are here. Athletics has always been very important to me, even from small child, even now. Is just a fan and a supporter of our mighty Braves. Athletics teaches us a lot of life lessons. Determination, discipline, dedication, how to be a good winner, how to be a good loser, sportsmanship, work ethic. It teaches you sometimes when you do your very best, it's not good enough. Somebody's just better than you are. It teaches that sometimes you may be the best, but due to circumstances beyond your control, you still don't win. And that's the way life is. So I feel it's very important for us to give back to our school and our kids because it teaches them a lot of life lessons. In the last 22 years, I've had the opportunity to serve as sheriff. It's given me the opportunity to give back some time and some money. I make sheriff's salary, so I don't have too much to give back. But I give what I can. But one small thing I have a part in, about 16, 17 years ago, I was on the committee to find a football coach. So we had 14 or 15 good applications, and we went through them, and there was we picked out the 3 best, I believe, and the top of that list was Tim Barron. And thankfully, the people that did the hiring saw fit to bring him on as our football coach. And the rest is history. I didn't think we'd have a losing season, but my statistician DJ said we had one season where we went 5-6, but we still made the playoffs.
Well, we were 5-5, we got beat the playoffs.
Okay, we didn't have a losing season. That's what I was thinking. So, we used to find ways to lose ball games. Now we find ways to win ball games. I don't remember a game during those years that we lost that we were supposed to win. However, there's been several times that the crew down the street here were disappointed because we beat them when we shouldn't have beat them. So we owe a lot of thanks to Coach Barron. And DJ and Randall have been with him the whole time, and I know he'll give most of the credit to his staff, but those 3 have been here the whole time, and we owe them a lot of thanks. Our facilities here are just off the chain. And that goes to our community, our leaders, our school board, our administrators, and they couldn't do it without the money, so we thank our community for the support. I want to thank all the inductees, and let me just challenge you this. Don't forget where you come from. Try to give back a little bit, whether it's money or time or whatever. Send Coach Barron $100. Send your favorite sport $100. If you can't do that, join the Booster Club.
Yes.
If you can't do that, come to a ball game and buy a bag of popcorn, and you'll see some great competition. We got a lot going for us here, and we're just so thankful. I can't think of anything else, and I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready for some football. Go Braves.
Ever since we've been here, Sheriff Henry drove us to all the away games, and it's I'm so thankful for it. Somebody will ask me how you get to Crawford County, how you get here. I'm like, heck, I don't know. I was sleeping the whole way, and I'm blessed that he would drive us around. I know he had to sit back there and listen to Coach Curbo give off 18 different stats for the past 15 years, but it's really been neat riding with him, and it's been neat, holding those conversations with me, him, Shane, and DJ all in the car. But we're so blessed for him. The one thing he hit on is kind of giving back. And I remember when we first got here at Hurt County, we'd always say, we tell the kids, you got to leave, you got to get out of Hurt County when you graduate, you got to go. The one thing early when we were talking about it, we didn't talk about is you got to come back. So much of our better students, they graduate, they go on to get a degree, and there's no job or nothing for them to come back. But we've got to start getting some of them to come back and start trading these jobs so we can keep our better people. Does everybody agree with that? So we got to get involved some way, somehow. Now, I'll move on. That was my political speech. All right, the next 2 I get to introduce actually play for us. The young man that I'm about to talk about is now currently coaching with us, and he's one of the best football coaches I've been around. Kyle Yates started his career at Hurt County in 2003. He played 4 years of high school baseball and was a 2-year starter. He wrestled 3 years in high school and went on to become a 2-time state placer and 2-time All-State member in wrestling. In football, he started all 4 years at O-line, 2 years at D-line. He was a 3-year first-team All-Region member, and his senior year was first-team All-State. He was part of the first region championship in the history of Heard County football. He was on the first undefeated football team in regular season Heard County football. At that time, his senior class had racked up 2 region titles and had won more ball games than any group in the history of Heard County. Now, one thing that I really want to talk about with Kyle is just his character. And I want to tell the story, and anybody that's ever had a child that's been recruited, you may be able to relate to this. We were blessed enough that at that time, we were huge at offensive line. We had 2 6'5", 2 300+ guys that looked the part. And they were good football players. I'm not taking anything from them. But when the college coaches would come by, they'd always want to see the 6'5" guy, 6'5" guy. And I'd tell them, I said, Kyle Yates is the best offensive lineman I've ever coached. And they say, Coach, he's too small. You know, he's not good enough. And that kind of mentality, that kind of edge, he carried with him every day he stepped on the field. And I'll tell you right now, and it wasn't nothing against those other guys, but he whipped their tail every chance he got just to make a point. You know, and just made him special. With that being said, he really liked West Georgia College, but they wouldn't offer him because they said he was too small. He was signed by West Al, but he wasn't happy. He knew where he wanted to be. He wanted to be back home. He decided to go over there and meet with the coaches and just let them know that he was going to walk on. They didn't really even know who he was at the time and kind of just shrugged him off like he was just another walk-on that'd probably be there for about 15 days and be gone. But it didn't take him long to figure out that Kyle was a little bit different. He started 4 years at center for a team that said he was too small and couldn't sign him on a scholarship. Like I said before, he is one of the best linemen that I've ever got to see and witness and be a part of this program. He is a great person, he is a great man, and he's a better offensive line coach than he was an offensive line player. I'd like to welcome you guys, Hall of Famer, Kyle Yates.
I got a little something real quick. I'm not going to be too long, take up much of your time. As excited as I am about my playing career and my accolades and all that, and while that's great, I'm more excited about what I get to do every day. First of all, I want to give a few thank yous, and I'll kind of come back to what I'm talking about. First of all, I want to thank Coach Barron, Coach Lasser, Coach Hadley, I'm not sure if he's here, Coach Curbo, both the Curbos. I want to thank them for the lessons that you taught me on and off the field. Y'all made me the player that I was and the coach that I aspire to be today. I want to thank my mom and dad for pushing me to excel whatever I'm doing. Always, instilling in me that drive to compete and believing in me. Without them, I never would have achieved the success that I've had, not only as a player, but as a man, a husband, and a father. Also, I want to thank my whole family for supporting me in whatever it is I was doing. From a coaching aspect, I'd like to thank my wife, Leah, for all she does when I'm away coaching. She takes care of everything at home, the baby's sitting right there, baby Carter, even things you don't think about that you have to get done at the house. She does it without complaining while I'm away coaching or whatever I got going on. Without her, none of this would be possible. I love you both. Now, kind of coming back to what I do every day. From the very beginning, I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher and coach. I always knew that that's what I was, called to do. I always felt like that. I always loved the game of football, and I thought what better way to stay around the game than coach, because I can't play forever. I was good, but I wasn't that good. Okay? So I figured I needed to coach. Over my love of game, it's Coach Barron and his staff. They're the ones that really pulled out my passion for football. what really sold me on being a coach was not the wins we had when I was playing. Certainly not the money. Certainly not the money. But the camaraderie that all these coaches had while I was playing. That really stood out to me. I thought to myself, man, that sure would be fun one day to coach on the staff like these guys. And now I've been on this staff for now 7 years, and I get to coach not only these men, but also some of my best friends, that I played with under Coach Barron. We always said, I knew we all, Dustin and Corey and my brother, I knew we all had a passion for football, and I knew that we all always talked about having a staff together, and the reason is Coach Barron and his staff. We sat there day in, day out and practiced, and we knew that they cared about us and the way they coached together. We never saw them argue. We never saw, now I'm sure they did, behind closed doors, but we never saw it on the field, and they just always seemed like they just enjoyed being on the field. All right, coaching. Hey, buddy. They just seemed like they always enjoyed being on the field together. They had fun. They all grew up together, and I was like, man, that's what I want to do. That's what we all wanted to do, and now we kind of get to live through that. I also want to thank the community of Heard County. I'm so proud to be from this community, and all that changed when Coach Barron and his staff got here. It really did. Totally changed the perception of Heard County for the better. Every chance I get, I tell somebody that I'm a Heard County Brave. Whether I'm in Carrollton, LaGrange, Newnan, doesn't matter. I tell them I'm a Heard County Brave. Heard County really is a special place. Very special place. It has nothing to do with the facilities, nothing to do with them or some fancy slogan. It has to do with the people that live here, that work in the school system, and are just here every day for the kids. It has to do with the people. They genuinely do care about people and about each other, and that makes all the difference. In closing, I want to say that it's a great honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I want to thank the committee for selecting me. And just want to thank the community once again for all of your support, and just know that there is something just a little bit, Heard County people are just a little bit different. There's just something about them that they work a little harder, they just grind, there's just something about them, and that comes out not only in athletics, but in the school and everywhere. But there's just something a little bit different about Heard County, and that's a good thing. So thank y'all, and go Braves.
As a coach, he sits back and he talks about me, DJ, Randall, and Shane, and all of us. One neat thing that's taking place, and I'll try not to get emotional, is hey, we're getting a little bit old. Yeah. And getting to hire guys that are from Heard County, knowing that down the road, they're going to be the ones that take over, and they love Heard County. And there's something to be said for that. A lot of people, I don't know how many years I'm sure y'all saw it as coaches, they come and gone, and Heard was a stepping stone. And to be able to hire that group back, knowing that one day they're going to take over and this thing's just going to continue to grow and be better, is exciting. I'll try not to get emotional because I'm watching Kyle, and it makes you proud up here when you see these guys. The next guy I'm going to talk about is Dontavius Pooh Jackson. Dontavius Jackson entered high school in 2004. His first start would not be at running back, but at defensive end. He had 95 tackles as a freshman. Early in his freshman year, he had a hard time holding on to the football, and so Coach Curbo limited his touches. But about mid-season, he learned how to hold the football, and it helped rejuvenate the Heard County football program. One thing I'll just text back, once he learned how to hold the football, we're sitting there with Carlos Brown and Dontavius Jackson, 2 high school All-Americans in the backfield of Heard County. Pretty tough to stop. Defensively, even though he only got to play in one half of one game due to injury, he would finish 7th for all-time in career, 7th all-time for career tackles, 2nd for career sacks. Now let's talk about what really got him in here, running the rock. He would complete his career with 4,502 rushing yards, and again, he ran in one half of a ball game his senior year. He had 449 rushing attempts, and finished with an unheard of 10.0 yards per carry for the year. Not a game. We get a kid that does that for a game, we're awfully proud. He did it for his career. 52 rushing touchdowns. In 2006, he had 29 rushing touchdowns, 2,462 yards rushing, and in one game, 405 yards. And in that ball game was game 10 against Lamar County, and they were getting after our tail. It wasn't one of them cush games where we were like, let's run his stats up a little bit. We're in a dogfight, and we kept feeding him and feeding him and feeding him. So he ended up with 405 yards rushing in that ball game. He would go on to sign with the University of Georgia and would eventually finish his career at UAB. Anybody that knows a whole lot about him, he had a spinal fracture in his wrist his senior year, and he almost went 3 years before he could really play in a football game because he had to have knee surgery when he got to Georgia. I honestly believe that had he not had those injuries, you know, he would have had a special career wherever he was at. But God's got a plan for him, and maybe it just wasn't going to be football in the back end. One thing about Dontavius that makes it special is anybody that knows him, he had many struggles and battles to get to this point. Like many young men that grow up in a poverty-stricken environment, very few people think that these kind of young men are going to make it. And you know, one thing about him, he was tough. You know, that made him a great football player. He was tough, but he had to fight and claw for everything he got. So sometimes, you know, the rough side would come out, we'd have to get on him a little bit. But a lot of people didn't think when he was in middle school that that young man would walk across the stage. And a lot of people didn't think, you know, if they didn't think he was going to walk across the stage, they dang sure didn't think he was about to be a college graduate. But I'll say this, I'll try not to be emotional to him. There was one person that believed, well, not more than one, but his mother, when you mentioned his name and you said Pooh, she had the prettiest smile that you could possibly imagine, and she was so proud of him. And I know she'd love to be here at this moment and see it. Now I'm going to give y'all Dontavius Pooh Jackson, Hall of Famer.
I'm talking my baby Chef Terry. But first off, so I'd like to start off by thanking God for this amazing opportunity and for giving me the talent and the knowledge in the classroom to see in this amazing sport. Football was my way out of a struggling childhood, which I grew up in. That's the main reason for my success. I thank my mother for being hard on me and teaching me what's right and what's wrong. If she was here today, she would probably be yelling right now, filled with so much joy. But I know she's yelling up in heaven. And I would also like to thank my godparents for opening their arms and letting me into their family as one of their kids, teaching me values about life, how to carry yourself with class and dignity. I want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you. To all the coaching staff, you guys will always be a father figure and a mentor in my life. You taught me early to stand up and be a man and believe in yourself. They also taught me how to be disciplined and respectful, traits that every man and women need in this world. When the lights came on Friday, you could always count on me to lead it all on the field. And for my cousin Thomas Keith, thank you for paving the way for our family. When you made it out, you gave me all the hope in the world that I could do the same thing. To all the young kids out there today, don't just focus yourself on the product, but more on the process. Everything dealing with sport is a process for a person who wants to be great. Don't never let anyone tell you that you can't do something. Nothing is given to you in life. Hard work and dedication is everything a person needs. Thank you, Brave Nation, for this great honor. Congratulations to the rest of the Hall of Fame class. Thank you, and go Brave.
Who's that? Gotcha. Anyway, hey, thank you guys very, very much. I better get down to the football field. Those coaches better get down there too. But hopefully see you guys tonight. Hopefully we play well, play hard, and represent you guys the right way.
My name is teach, and I'm not used to speaking with a microphone. I can talk without it. I'm allowed to know. I'm here to represent my uncle, Hank Pike. He couldn't be here today because he is, he has a job in California right now. So he nominated me to come and talk for him. So since he's not here, I can say whatever I want to about him. He was on the first ever Heard County football team. I believe he played with Ross Henry wherever Ross went.
He did.
He did, okay. I believe he also played on both sides of the ball. You're going to have to be my facts here, Ross.
He did. It was the barbaric years.
The barbaric years. I don't know that they kept very many stats back then. I do know the joke in the family is that the reason he got to be so big and strong is because he used to go steal his baby sister's bottle and go hide behind the couch and drink all her milk. That's what we say in the family. So the beginning of this school year, no matter where I go in Heard County, I'm generally known as either one of the Pike kids. My mother was Ellen Pike, and Hank was her brother. I'm either known as that, or I'm Jonathan and Davy Hunt's mother. So nobody really knows me. So everywhere I go, people start talking, who are you? So this past week at the school, I had a parent of someone who's not in my class, and he came down, and of course he was waiting to meet with his child's teacher, and we got to talking, and who do you know? And so we came across Hank Pike, and he said, oh, I remember Hank. He said, I went out for the football team, and I had to go against Hank. He said, that was the end of my tryouts. He said, I could not hold that man. So Hank wrote a short speech that he wanted me to read, so I'll read that now. He said, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the committee for the nomination and selection into the Heard County Hall of Fame. I apologize for my absence, but my job has me traveling to California this week. The athletics here at Heard High School made such a positive impact to my early youth that it taught me a very valuable lesson that helps me to succeed in life today. That lesson was never quit, no matter the intensity of the pain. And apparently he took that to heart because he retired from Duracell, and I think he was retired for 6 months, Beth. Couldn't stand it, so we got another job, and now that has him out in California. He said, my hope is that all the young athletes participating in sports today will receive the same message. It will take you far in life. I want to take the opportunity today to thank all my teammates that endured the experiences we had together, being brothers on that battlefield. I accept this award on their behalves as well. Many thanks for the leadership, mentoring, and guidance from all the coaches. Coach Pounds, Coach Tony, Coach Norton, Coach Foster, and the Heard High faculty that's made an everlasting positive impact on my life. Once again, thanks to everyone for this great honor. Hank Pike, class of 1976. I believe there's a plaque, and I would like for his wife, Beth, and his son, Caden, to come up and accept those. Thank you very much. Caden is out. Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to start off with saying that this is really awesome what y'all do here. This is first rate. You got a lot to be proud of. I'm here to speak about Charles Eccles. Looking at these stats for his senior year when they won the North Georgia Championship in baseball, it's the scorebook keeper here tonight. Batting .500 in a state championship year. I wasn't here. I'm not from here. I moved to Newnan 20 years ago, And I remember the first time I came through here. I was leaving Noonan to go to Bowden to look at a piece of property. And when I got to town, there was a big banner across the road. It said, "Home of the Braves." And everywhere I went around town, there was "Home of the Braves," "This is Braves country." And I thought, I didn't know anything about here. I thought, man, do they know about this town in Atlanta? Do they have a clue about their fan base down here? When I got back to Noonan, I told everybody about it. I mean, and most of them were transplants like me. They didn't know. I thought, man, I found the biggest fan base you've ever seen for a team. And I finally was talking to a guy who grew up there, and he said, "Vic, the local high school's the Braves." I said, "Oh." And of course, by the end of the week, everybody knew it. And every time I leave the office, they'd say, "Well, you gonna go find some Falcon fans today?" A few weeks later, I got off in College Park, and there was a billboard, a small billboard up there, and it just said "War Eagle." No, this time I asked. I learned all about Woodward Academy. But since those days, I've met a lot of folks from here in Franklin and Heard County. I had a couple of young ladies that played for Charles and I for several years. And Jordan Watson, they were both on the state championship team here, the Jordan Watson and Callie Harry, which, you know, Callie FSU team won the national championship this year. But before that, she won a much bigger championship. Coach Charles, and I know him as Coach Charles, because like I said, I didn't know him until 16 years ago, took an Atlanta Vipers team to California and won the national championship in, I think, 2012. And it would be the first national championship the Vipers had ever won, and it would be the first one that Georgia Fast Pitch had ever won. And he brought that home. And Jordan and Callie were on that team. 4 years later, and he would become, by the way, the first coach ever from Georgia to win a national. 4 years later, he would do it again in ASA Nationals. And as of today, he's the only coach in the state of Georgia that's ever won 2 national championships, which is pretty impressive. He's taking on his biggest challenge now, and this is really called giving back. When you're used to coaching at a level gold ball, which is just a notch down below Major D1 college ball, and he's taking on the challenge of coaching a private school in Noonan, the Heritage School, the varsity. This is going to challenge his coaching skills, and it's certainly going to test his patience. But he is the man to do it, and as a man, he's made some wonderful decisions. His first major decision that he made was he married up, which is a good thing. And together, they raised 3 daughters, 3 awesome young ladies. And I'd like to say a little bit about each one of them. Sheree is the oldest. She's not here tonight. She played softball at Columbus State and is now living in Kansas City, pursuing her career. The middle daughter, the one that I played with Charles and I for so long, Ebony, she's going to Michigan State for her senior year. Ebony likes to make A's, don't like to study. She likes to play, don't like to practice. And that's just kind of Eb. Now Charlotte, the baby, she'll be starting at Michigan State her freshman year. And Charlotte has this infectious smile. She's always smiling. I'm sure she's back there smiling now. And I think it's because she wakes up every day so grateful that her parents tried just one more time to have a son. But I'm going to tell you that, in all sincerity, in all my years and all my miles of travel, which there are many of both, I have never met a better coach, a finer man, a better dad, and I certainly have had no better friend than Coach Charles Eccles.
just want to thank Harry County, thank the people that put together these events. Thanks for the community for, you know, even though I left Harry County, I mean, you never left me. You always included me as part of the family. Every time my girls went out and did something, Russ was always there to print about it. And that means a lot to us. And the fact that they didn't get to come here is not their fault, it's not mine, it's my wife's fault. We all want to be Harry County braves. But with that, I just want to say thank you for considering me for this induction. It means a whole lot. I mean, I'm really, really proud to have walked these hallways and been a part of the Braves. I've been so many memories, so many great memories. Even my last day of school here at Harry County High School, I played for the state championship in baseball. I'll never forget that. Met a lot of good people, but even though, you know, I took a different path, didn't really go to college and pursue my dream, I've had a chance to get out there and coach a lot of talented girls and give them a chance, and I help them to pursue theirs, and that's even better. To get that phone call from a coach and say, hey, I want to talk to you about this kid or that kid, or this girl here is going to play here, coach, come to my signing. Nothing feels better than that. Thanks to my family over here, my friends, you know, you all have impacted my life in so many ways, and you never know how much you impact me every day. And I just want to thank you and thank Harry County High. Thank you.
Emily texted me or emailed me or something and asked me would I introduce her tonight, and I said it would be a great honor. But as a coach here for several years, I look around and it's really a great honor to see some of my players going into the Hall of Fame. We have Emily, we got Sharitha Jackson over here last year, and O'Neal. And that's a great honor to see those girls accomplish what they have accomplished. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. and Ms. Chambers for all the sacrifices you made, because she wouldn't have been able to do what all she did without you two. So a huge thank you to you guys. Yeah, Emily was special. You know, she was one of those that I didn't know who she was. Started the year as a ninth grader, we were doing softball, and we were doing tryouts, and there was this girl at shortstop. Nothing got by her. Nothing. And I looked at somebody over there and said, she's like a vacuum cleaner. And just, the ball just kind of sucks up to her and she throws it and gets them out. But then she was extremely hard on herself, because then she would commit an error. And then she'd come to practice the next day and said, I dreamed about errors all last night. I had these huge E's chasing me in my sleep. And so then, but she, because of her work ethic, worked harder so those errors would not occur, and turned out to be a very successful softball player. And then in basketball, you know, freshman year, she was a standout. You know, kind of referred to her as like a thief. She had more steals than anyone. Scored double digits most games, but she was never happy. You know, she wanted more. She had the work ethic. She went out there and worked harder every time. Her sophomore year, she came back. Now, her freshman year, she couldn't shoot outside. Occasionally, you know, the angels up there would catch it and throw in the hoop for her. But she was not happy. So she came back her sophomore year, and lo and behold, there was threes out there everywhere. And so I asked her one time, I said, where's Emily Chambers at? Where'd she go? You know, but she had worked hard. Nobody made her. Nobody forced her to do it. She chose to do it on her own. And it's a privilege to coach somebody in that capacity that's willing to, you don't have to say, go do it now. You must do this in order to get better. She picked it upon herself. And those, and I hate to say this, but back in those days, that was few and far in between, because it's not like it is today. I mean, it's kind of like a job today here in sports, or back then you played basketball, it was done the next basketball season. You played softball, it was done to the next softball season. But now it's kind of year-round for everyone. But, you know, she was an exceptional, not only on the ball field, on the basketball court, but in the classroom. You know, she didn't like B's, just like she didn't like E's. So, I mean, she worked hard in the classroom, and I think she knew better to get a B because of Mom and Daddy sitting over there. I think she was probably threatened, if you don't make good grades, you're not playing. So, but anyway, she excelled in everything that she did. She worked harder to become better than what she was the previous year. And actually, she worked hard in the classroom as well. And she wound up being the valedictorian for that senior class. You know, I kidded my nephew the other day, James, and they were kind of good friends. And I said, James, she just beat you up for valedictorian, didn't she? And he looked at me and said, you crazy, I failed your health class. But she was, you know, she spent countless hours, classroom, and that didn't include the extracurricular activities, because she was into music as well. Matter of fact, one of her hobbies now, she's a part of a band. So, but she graduated from high school, went to Columbus College, and played in the first inaugural basketball team there. So she was a part of history there to be a part of that first team. She played all 4 years, graduated, and went on with a BA degree in English. But you didn't teach English, did you? No. And then in 2009, she graduated again from Columbus State University with a Bachelor of Business Administration degree. So she's out in the business world making big bucks. So she realized teachers could make a huge amount of money. But Emily currently works as the finance officer at the River Valley Regional Commission in Columbus, which tells me she does a lot of money. So we're available for money. Anytime you would like to donate to the programs. But again, she was exceptional. I enjoyed coaching her. And it's a lot of fun to see these girls be able to be in the Hall of Fame here and be recognized in their capacity. And I introduce Emily to you.
Thank you, Kathy. I guess I can call you Kathy now. For those kind words. And thank you to my friends and family who are here supporting me, as they always did. She's right. I don't think my parents and my brother ever missed a ball game, even the away games. If they did, I don't remember. I like to thank whoever nominated me. I have a sneaky suspicion it may have been my brother. And I'd like to thank the committee for selecting me, because this is a tremendous, tremendous honor. And I've got to be honest, when I first heard the news that I'd been selected, that wasn't my first thought, oh, what a tremendous honor. My first thought was, oh my gosh, I got to lose weight. Because nobody will ever believe this short, dumpy girl was ever an athlete. But you know, that's what time does to a lot of us. But one thing time can never take away from me is the lessons that I learned here at Heard County High School. And I think Mr. Henry talked about it. Those things are sportsmanship and teamsmanship, and how to respect authority and respect rules and be a good person. And I learned those things because Heard County has a great history of hiring the best people to work here. The best coaches and the best faculty and staff and administration. And I can testify to that because 4 of them are sitting right there at that table. And both my parents and Kathy Scott were 3 of the most influential people in my young life. And they all retired, all 3 retired from this school district. And I think Heard County's still doing that today. I can see it in this room. And I've seen it on television in the past 2 or 3 years. You've had 3 young athletes that have left here and gone out into the world and represented this county so well. And you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Emory Jones and Callie Harrod and Anna Shulman. And they don't know me, but I had the privilege of playing ball here at Heard High with all 3 of their mothers. And their mothers were great athletes in their own right, but boy, they produced some really great athletes, haven't they? You know, I'm truly humbled to have my name on this wall with these people in this room and the people whose names are already on the wall. And I know one day those 3 kids will probably be on that wall too. And it's just really a tremendous, tremendous honor. Thank you so much.
Please forgive me, I get kind of loud sometimes, so just bear with me. I coached here a long time ago. Coach Vaughn hired me in 1989, and he was my high school baseball coach. I was looking to graduate in college, he gave me my first job. And one of the first things he said to me was, "You're going to be my head baseball coach, you're going to coach a little bit of football. Are you good with that?" I said, "I just want the job, so I'm really happy with it." But he goes, "You got a pretty good baseball player there. This Breeze boy, he's pretty good." I'm like, yeah, we'll see, you know. But my first day on the job, down the weight room, I'm sure it doesn't look like it did way back then, we were doing physicals. I didn't know anything, and I'm just walking around and introducing myself to some of the players. And I meet Skip. I'm sure he don't remember this, but I do. And all he wanted to do was talk baseball. All he wanted, we get physicals, he wants to talk baseball. And I went home that night, and I talked to my wife, Heidi, who's back there. I said, "There's this boy there, kind of reminds me of myself." And that whole season, we ain't started baseball yet. During football season, practices, everything, he just saying baseball stuff to me. I said, all right, little did I know that Skip, I've been coaching 28 years, probably the best ball players I ever coached. By far the best pure hitter that I ever coached. The boy could just freaking hit it. He'd get out of bed and be able to hit it. A lot of stats right here, and they're outstanding. 71 games, 70 runs scored. That speaks for itself. 95 hits, 63 RBIs. But he had a career average over 400, which is not in there. In his senior year, he had 8 home runs. Before his senior year, I didn't round it up, sorry. I always worked the baseball camp at Clemson University. And I had Skip and Ben, I think maybe one other player go up there. Over 300 campers at that camp. Skip won the best hitter award. Like I said, the boy just flat out hit. I mean, little did I know as a coach, he had everything you wanted as a player. First and foremost, he had talent. But he desired to get better. He always wanted to work. He had some mental toughness about himself. And he just loved the game of baseball. Too many kids today get specialized, but I do believe they learn the passion and the love for the game they want to play. But Skip had it. Man, he played a solid third base. Now, if I was a better coach, really, he would have pitched a little bit more. You know, but he was a very good third baseman. Okay? He went on to play South Georgia Junior College and Georgia State. And had a career batting average over 300. But I tell you what, I've been in this business with a lot of players, football-wise, baseball-wise, softball-wise, and everything. And this is one of my most proud moments being coach. Been introduced Skip to the Heard County Class Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Sweet, because I know we're pressed on time, and I've been kind of dreading this, but I was so thankful that Coach Quinn was able to come over from South Carolina. He's a head football coach now in North Augusta, not at North Augusta, but Fox Creek High School. So I sat here last year and I watched my mom get inducted, and somehow she got out speaking. I think she did. She got out speaking, but. I knew if I ever got inducted, though, that Coach Quinn would be the person that I asked to come over, and I just kind of got lucky because I knew he was a head football coach, and I sent his wife, Heidi, a text, and I told her, I said, I think I know the answer to this, but believe it or not, I got inducted to the Hall of Fame. way Coach Quinn can come over on this day. She's like, it just so happens that they have a scrimmage on Thursday night. So luckily it worked out, and I'm proud that you came, Coach, because our relationship for those 3 years meant the world to me, because he was a young coach, and I thought Coach Vaughn walked on water. I mean, Rodney, you remember Coach Vaughn. I mean, he just had a presence about him. And my freshman year, we were 3-13 with another coach, and I liked him a lot too. He went on to Camden County. He was Coach Connors, and he went back home to Camden County and had a great career down there coaching. But Coach Quinn came in, and I just thought because he played with Coach Vaughn that he was fresh out of college, being a college baseball player, and I thought that whatever he told me to do, I would do it. So it was a match made in heaven. But one of my daughters coming here today said something, and I'm not going to say which one, but this is typical of my house with 3 daughters. She's like, this is really a pretty big deal for you and Dad. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, for me, you know, because I was lucky enough to, like he said, I went to a junior college my first 2 years because I wasn't good enough to go to a bigger college. And then I got lucky enough to get on with Georgia State, which, I mean, it's not like going to the University of Georgia, but I mean, it's good baseball. It's somewhere between West Georgia and the University of Georgia, somewhere in the middle there. And I got to play against some good teams. I got to play against Florida, Auburn, several people that I'd grown up watching. And the thing that I realized the most, that the further I got away from Heard County, the easier losing got. I mean, I don't mean that to sound like I took pride in losing, but I mean, when we got beat in Heard County, I mean, it would keep me up for, the whole week. And now that I look back and I'm 44, the most meaningful games that I played, I think, was right here in Heard County. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I got away a little bit, but I'm also grateful to be here, and I'm thankful for the committee to induct me. And probably my mom was the one that nominated me or whatever, so thank you, Mom. But I do appreciate it, and this is the highlight of my little sports career. And I'd just like to thank the people that made the investments in me when I was younger, like Coach and Coach Payne and Coach Vaughn. And we just had Miss Scott, several good coaches. She didn't technically coach me, but she's been around my whole life. So, and then my mom and my dad, they hauled me around. And well, my dad passed away in 2010, and I better get down. But I'm just thankful because he spent a lot of time with me, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bear with me as I go through this, make it a little choked up from spot to spot. I know a lot of my players probably don't know that I care about them that much, but I do. And, but good afternoon to y'all. Congratulations to all the inductees, and thank you, Coach Bonner, for the opportunity to introduce you as you've been inducted into the Heard County Sports Hall of Fame. As a coach, I don't know if I could have played for me. I know it was difficult and demanding. I loved every young man that's ever played for me. It stayed the course. That may not feel the same way about me. That's okay. I still love them anyway. Due to circumstance, Coach sometimes becomes more involved with some young men than others. Coach Bonner was one of those young men that I felt very close to. Can't tell you the exact moment it happened. If it was him sitting on the brand new deck machine we had, I asked him a question, and he always had this sideways look that he would give you, and he's looking at me, and I decided that I see something in that I like. But I do know this: to understand how deserving Coach Bonner is to be in this community's Hall of Fame, you have to know Cole Bond. And for those of you who know him, you know what I mean by the emphasis on know. There's a lot of characteristics there, a lot of charisma. He has his stats athletically. High school and collegiate seasons as a 1,000-yard rusher, team captain at every level, multiple MVP awards, conference player of the year, played professional in arena football, and he's a poster child on their preseason poster at Southern Illinois. And that's my prop, in case anybody didn't believe it. That's it with his game face on right here. I've been the same since 1996. To let you know that I don't forget. But, you know, all these stats are part of the reason that Cole's been honored this way. The main reason Cole deserves to be here is because of the young man that he was and the man that he is. His mother did a fantastic job instilling the right values in his children. His fighting with his brother Fats made him tougher. God bless Cole with athletic ability, leadership skills, charisma, and the gift of gab. Cole and I have talked a few times prior to today, and he gives me way too much credit. Cole had all these great qualities when I met him. I saw a young man with enthusiasm, charisma, leadership, athletic ability. He only needed a plan and some encouragement. I tried to help that, and Cole did all the hard work to make that plan come into being. Cole's a successful businessman, and I'm not surprised. If I turned on TV and saw the NFL draft, and he was on the stage smiling and holding up a jersey, it wouldn't surprise me. If I turned on the ESPN, and he was sitting there behind the desk hosting the show, that wouldn't surprise me. There's Cole. But, you know, Cole's worked hard and earned the status it has now. But the main reason Cole deserves to be in the Hall of Fame is because of what he means to other people. His family, me, his teammates over the years, his friends. His leadership, passion, enthusiasm, and positive attitude has influenced all the people who know him. And the reason I'm a little choked up is when I get to this part, it's going to be kind of hard for me to say, because it's how much I think about it. I've got 4 granddaughters and 2 grandsons. My oldest grandson is 8. Lorenzo Carter slapped his hand one day, so Lorenzo Carter is the greatest player in the world. That's who he wants to be. You know, Lorenzo's a great player. I hope he turns out to be a football player like Cole Bond. And I hope my grandchildren turn out to be the kind of person that Cole is. Cole's honored his family, his community, his school, his teammates by being the man he is. And I give you Cole Bond.
Thank you, Coach. When I called Coach Payne, got his number, and I called him and I asked him if he could come and induct me, introduce me. He said, you know, Coach, I haven't been back to Heard County since I left. He said, but for you, I would walk there. And he was one of these guys that will always be in your heart, because he saw more in me than I saw myself. When Coach Vaughn left and then the new coaching regime came in, a lot of players were feeling some type of way. We were in our feelings, didn't know if we wanted to play ball. He came in and I decided to give it a shot because I was in love with football. First thing he did was start tampering into the academic portion. What kind of classes are you taking? Are you taking this? Well, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm passing. I can play. What do I got to do? you know, you need to be taking this class and this class and this class and this class. So he went and he changed all of my classes. And my senior year, I had a full load. We got to get you ready for college. Like recess, lunch, playing ball. And we had a talk about that, and I told him, I'm like, Coach, you were trying to get me all ready for college, and I really didn't even like high school. And he was like, you never told me that. I'm like, I wasn't going to tell you that. That look you used to put on your face and the way you were, and, you know, he meant an awful lot to me because he was the reason I even ended up in school. A lot of people don't even know that I went through a junior college, and I never saw a coach from the junior college. I didn't really even have a choice. You know, he said, okay, we got 2 schools here for you, and it's going to be this one and this one, and then this is going to be the one right here. Okay. So family and I, we strike out on this 17-hour drive all the way up to Illinois Valley in the middle of nowhere. And I'm there for days before the school, you know, before anything even started. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know. But that got me on track. It started everything. From there, I graduated. Had so many injuries, I had to go into Southern Illinois as a walker. But by the next year, I had a full ride scholarship. By that next year, I was a starter. And the poster child that he just showed on that poster. And without Coach making me do, telling me what I was going to do, it probably never would have happened. I would have been in a factory somewhere working. So, Coach, I want to thank you for everything because you were just like another father to me. And I want to thank God for giving me this opportunity. I want to thank Franklin, Heard County. I'm at home now. I was born and raised here. First time I played football was in 1985 for the recreation department, Heard County Wildcats. Don Heard was the coach, had hair down his back like Fabio did. I don't know what happened. I'm pretty sure we had nothing to do with that part. You know, and I wish he could have been here today. I want him to hear that a little bit. I want to thank my father for teaching me how to be a man, teaching me how to work, instilling the core values in me at an early age. I want to thank my stepfather for teaching me the true meaning of step. And that simply meant to step up. My brother, just like Coach Payne said, that's all we did was fight. And I'm not talking about a verbal fight, and I'm not talking about, we went at it. And he was, when I say he was like it's like Muhammad Ali having Mike Tyson to spar with every day. All right, if I could go toe-to-toe with him any day of the week, when I got on the football field, that was easy. You know, I grew up watching my hero, Rodney Wilson. He showed me what a champion was. Still call him hero to this day. I saw him do things on the field. Man, I want to be like that. Man, I want to do stuff like that. And I watched him so much, and I was in his shadow so much, I really didn't think I did that much. Because I didn't have the numbers that he had. But I was the type of guy that you just had to be there, you had to see it. You know, I remember, I wanted to do everything he did. He had an interception in a Hopersville game. He came out with his arms up in the air. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to be just like that. Years later, playing Pacelli or somebody, I get an interception. Man, when I dropped that ball, I came back out with my hands up in the air, just like Rodney did. Didn't work out so well for me because Coach Payne was my coach. Coach Vaughn let Rodney get away with it. Man, I got burned up for that. You know, I want to thank I want to thank Heard County. I mean, as I ride through, man, I brag about it so much. Man, my old high school, man, those like junior college out there, man, sitting on top of the hill. It looks good, the field house. Man, they're not playing on turf. Man, they have to play on grass. That feels hard. And they got it going on. I mean, it's first class everything. Now, I want to thank whoever inducted me in. I want to thank the committee for giving me this opportunity. Last but not least, I want to thank my mother. She was everything. Can't look at her right now, so I just look home. My family came through in droves. Got t-shirts made. I got probably the whole family. I have the whole section over there. My mother was everything. She was the glue. She was like the pastor. She was like the counselor. She was like the doctor. You mess up an ankle, all of a sudden you got your ankle in a bag of red mud and vinegar. All the swelling is gone. Whenever I was going through something, I can call her. She just knew all the right words to say to calm me down. You know, I was big then. I'm on the weights, and I'm on the whey protein, and I'm on the protein powders, and I'm in the gym, and I'm on this. But I had an emotional side, and when things weren't going my way, I called Mama, and she would talk me off that edge. And she was the ATM. She was the ATM. You punched that code, and it just came out, and it came out, and it came out, and it came out. You know, I want to thank my entire family. Now I get to go back and I get to tell the little boy, but I told you I was good. I told you your side. And if you listen and you continue to do what you need to do and work hard and never quit, maybe one day you'll get your name up with the greatest of Heard County athletes and people that Heard County has to offer. I mean, I look around now and Heard County just blows my mind because every time I turn and look, Heard County is making the news. You got people over here doing this, you got people over here doing that. Somebody just won the state championship. Man, Heard County's on the map. I get to tell people on my job, shoot, that's Heard County, that's where I'm from. We did that. But I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank my family. I want to thank the committee and Coach again for taking the time out of his schedule to come. And it's just a glorious day. Thank you. I love you.
Hello. My name is Janie Davis. I know a lot of you here, but anyone here who does know me is probably because my 4 children graduated from here, and I was the secretary at Heard County High School for 13 years, and then I went on to be the secretary of the middle school for 5 years. I see so many of the kids that were here when I was here, and I'm so proud of all of you. All of you know I'm a big crier. When Rodney ran onto the field and played for Georgia Tech, his first time, I was a wreck. They were playing the national anthem, and I was up in the stands boo-hooing. I didn't even see him. I just knew he was out there. But this is all, I'm here to talk about Sharitha Jackson. If you attended any Heard County basketball, softball, or track events between 1999 and 2003, then she probably doesn't require much introduction. Sharitha was a powerhouse shot putter, a home run hitter, and a post that most point guards had a lot of trouble getting through. While you may have heard her introduced at the games as Sharitha, you most likely heard her mama cheering for her and coaching her from the stands, calling out, Riri, Riri, do this, do that, get on. It was all about Riri, and that's who most people know her as. Sharitha was born and raised in Heard County, starting Heard Elementary, and graduating from Heard High. She was and is a jokester, an excellent student, a loyal friend, and loved by everybody who knew her. I had the pleasure of seeing Sharitha grow from a crayon-loving kindergartner to a strong, intelligent senior, and I couldn't be more honored to introduce her to you all tonight. While I could go on and on about the amazing friend she was to my daughter and so many others, and the phenomenal woman she has become, we're here to recognize her contribution to the basketball, track, and softball teams during her time at Hurt High. I'll start with softball because, as Sharif will tell you, it was a sport she played not out of the intense love for the game, but because her mama didn't give her any choice. She let her not play in her freshman year because she just wanted her to get into high school and do a good job, but that was it. After that, she was playing softball. Regardless of her reason for playing, though, Sharifa wasn't always an attribute to the team. She got the big hits, she put points on the board, and she was always keeping everybody happy in the dugout by joking and carrying on. I'm sure Coach Scott didn't really like that very much. In track, Sharifa competed in shot put and discus, placing in many of the track meets and even winning state in her events. But it was basketball where Sharifa was best known. She was a fixture on the court all 4 years of high school. And you could usually find her under the goal, blocking the opposing team from scoring, helping lead the region championship team during her time at Hurt High. She lettered in all 3 sports, was an amazing asset to all 3 teams, and a true teammate in every sense of the word. It was all about the team for Sharifa, and she did everything she could to help put a W on their record. Here comes the hard part. Coach Bain, you got nothing on me. I'm pretty sure I won't get through this without crying, but I would be remiss if I didn't also recognize Sharifa's mother, Miss Carrie Glenn, whom I have no doubt is with us tonight, cheering as loud as possible for her daughter. Carrie was one of my best friends and a mentor to so many students. Carrie and her mother, Miss Marilyn Glenn, who's here tonight, are the reasons that Sharifa is the caring and strong woman we are honoring here. It's my sincerest honor to introduce Sharifa as she is inducted into the Heard County High School Hall of Fame tonight. I can think of no other who deserves this honor more.
I think it was Coach Barron that said that we're getting old. And my reply for that is speak for yourself. Coach Barron, speak for yourself. You're not getting old. We are lively here today. But I wanted to take this opportunity as a chance to show some gratitude. And first and foremost, I have to take a moment and thank God. If not for God and for favor and divine intervention, I wouldn't be able to stand before you guys today. But also, to thank you guys. You came out to support your families. And if you'll take a moment, give yourselves a hand clap, because some of you guys struggle. Now on to the thank yous for again, thank you, Janie. Janie Davis gave me some of the best advice that got me through high school, and it's got me through adulthood. Anytime you have something going on, no matter if you broke your leg, go take a shower. That's what she told me. So if I have a rough day, go take a shower. Knee hurt, go take a shower. Thank you, Jane. I also have to take time to thank my mama. As you guys heard, my mother is Miss Carrie Elizabeth Glenn, one of the original Lady Braves here at Heard County High School. And if not for her, I wouldn't have picked up a basketball or shot put or softball. I don't know how she managed to do it, but she made it to every single game, even when she was taking chemotherapy. And at times, and I remember this very clearly, I think you do too, Ms. Scott, She came in, I don't know who we were playing, but we were getting our butts whipped on the court. She came in from taking a chemo treatment, made her way down the stairs to the locker room and told us how badly we were doing and that she could do it better even with taking chemo. So we got it together in the second half. So thank you to my mother, thank you to my grandmother, who's 81 and fabulous. Thank you to my sister, to everyone who came to support me. Thank you to my best friend and her family. My godchildren are here, and I want to take a moment to say something to them, because you know I get to do this every day. I always give them the encouragement to say, be great, be your best, but most importantly, be yourself. So I hope you guys continue to carry that. Thank you to Coach Scott. How did you put up with me all those years? You poor woman. How did you make it? Thank you, Coach Scott, for pushing me on and off the court. I just want to say, during my time while we played, we beat Mountain. We did. We put up a back up in the gym. So, and also, my last game of my senior year, I concluded with 100% for three-point shooting. I took one shot my entire basketball career. And Coach Scott looked at me and said, I didn't know you could shoot threes. Now you do. Anyhow, thank you again to my family, I didn't get to say it, but to my sister who's looking away. If not for her also, I wouldn't have made it through high school. When looking at the years in which you guys have given me this honor, in 2001, my mother passed away, and she actually passed away on August 3rd, and we had her funeral on August 7th. And that was the first day of high school, the first day of school I had ever missed. And I knew that 2001 was going to be a rough year. And shortly after that, I don't know if you guys remember a little something called 9/11, I just didn't think it was, we were going to, I wanted to cancel the entire school year and just start over in 2002. But fortunately, I had a good support system between my grandmother and my sister. And they, because of that, and all the things I learned that year, I've been able to be the person that I am today, be able to stand up here before you. And that has allowed me to also just overcome some obstacles in my lifetime. As a Brave, as a Lady Brave, Coach Scott put us through a lot of work. Coach Bennett, who also was one of the original track coaches here, they made us run in that hot sun. And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why we had to get on the line. I didn't understand why we had to go for every rebound. I didn't understand what giving your best meant. But as an adult, as someone who gets to say that I am a cancer survivor, those obstacles, those triumphs helped me get here where I am today. This honor means more than you guys could ever know. Some of you have come up to me and you are aware that just a couple of months ago I lost my home to a fire, which meant I lost all those wonderful accolades from Hurd County. But you've given me something much greater, and you inducted me into the Hall of Fame. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And one more thing before I close, because I will not cry. Before I leave from up here, I would like to close with some words from Muhammad Ali. I carry this with me every day, and I hope that the athletes here and that everyone that's in this room can also work with it. It says, impossible is not a fact, it is an option. Impossible is not a declaration, it is a dare. Impossible is potential, it's temporary, it is nothing. Thank you. Go Braves.
Hello, I'm Donna Staples Brooks, and my sister would like to point this out that I am the oldest sister. And I want to say thank you so much to the Hurricane Sports Hall of Fame for honoring Daddy this way. He would be proud, he would be humble. Me, not so much. So I'm going to tell you some things about him that you may not have known. In college, he lettered in football, basketball, and baseball. He made his way through his college career by playing baseball. And had he not had a torn rotator cuff from his football injury, he would have probably gone on to be a professional baseball player. Fortunately for me and my sister, and many of you in this community, that didn't happen. He landed in Hurd County, where y'all embraced him and loved him, and my mother, and y'all gave him a wonderful life. He loved the men that he coached, just like Eddie mentioned. He had a team that went not to the semifinals, but to the finals in the state championship. And they didn't win the finals, but he beat his brother, who coached in Perry. So there was nothing else really important after that. And we're very fortunate, or I think I am very fortunate today, to have some of the men that he coached here with us. Roy is from that 1960 baseball team. I was hoping Jerry Nutt could come, but his wife is not well, so please keep Joanne in your prayers. And again, we just want to say thank you for loving our folks.
Well, I'll try to give you just a glimpse of having played for Mr. Staples back in the late 50s. The team that she was referring to in 1960. How would you like to have played for an icon like Mr. Staples, who was not called coach? He was our principal. He ran a small business in Franklin, and he was also a basketball coach. So we as kids growing up, there was no relief. There was no relief because if you were misbehaving downtown, he knew about it. If you were misbehaving in the classrooms or the hallways, there he was. And being so fortunate to have seen the players and the quality of athletes prior to me playing, which have been the early 50s. Sorry. That brought us to the late 50s, and then continued and coached my brother into the 60s. I know the brochure says that he coached in the 60s and 70s, back in the 50s and 60s. Was quite an honor. It's quite an honor. And Mr. Staples, he had an uncanny knack for not saying too much. But when he said something, he had everybody's attention. And I can't tell you how blessed that me and my group that came through, and my brother's group, I know, because I stayed in touch with Hurd County, not only through athletics, but reading the paper. I'm a Hurd County boy. I've heard that all through the presentation. Now, I want to leave you with something that when I come down here and I ride through this area, you got to realize the cars we were driving back then, they're in Cuba. You know, 50 miles, 60 miles, y'all seen this young crowd on TV. It was a totally different period of time. So Mr. Staples would be so proud to see the transition, see the quality of athletes, see the quality of the coaches, but just the quality of the community. But I'm going to tell you, he started putting Hurd County on the map. We went to places like Greenville, Hoganville, Troup County, during that era, they would sometimes say, Hurt County doesn't have a railroad. Hurt County doesn't have a railroad. And all start cheering. But we left like they knew we had a ball team. So he is and was a transition individual. He truly was. And he's responsible for an awful lot of changes that occurred on this hill. We got a stadium named after him. And in closing, I know everybody needs to go. Of all the ball games we won a ton. I shared this with Don, and I thought about whether I'd share it again. No, we don't. But this Staples was in his last couple of months, maybe. And I heard through Mom that he wasn't doing well. And I stopped down at the nursing home. And I went back there. And he couldn't speak very well. And I had to lean over the bed. And I said, we had some great times. They were mistakes. And he mumbled, yeah, we did. But there was a twinkle in his eye. And I carried it with me the rest of my life. Appreciate y'all having the old folks back. Gee, it's been 50-some years. It's hard to believe it's been that long. But I'm so proud to be a part, have been a part of Hurt County. Thank you, Don.
You never ask a former first grade teacher to come without visuals. So, here I am. Thank you so much for honoring Daddy. It means so very much. Recently, I was cleaning out, and I found these keys. Now, these are Daddy's keys, and they're important because I can't tell you the number of times that we came up in the middle of the night, not in this campus, because this was just a twinkle in his eye at that point, but the old building, we'd unlock and we'd go in and we'd check to make sure everything was okay. Until one summer, the early 70s, and it seemed like every time we got in the car, we would come up, he would park where the old ag building used to be, and most of you probably don't even remember the old ag building, but we'd go and he'd stand, he'd say, stand right here. And I'd stand right there, and my husband would stand with me, and he'd say, look, just look. And I'd look, and there was a big old hole full of kudzu. And I'd say, okay. And he'd say, no, just look. He said, this was a perfect place for a football field. He said, just look, it's perfect. And I go, uh-huh. Right. He had a vision. His vision, Staples Stadium. And he took that vision and turned it into a reality. And I think that's probably one of the most prideful moments in his life. And he was not a prideful man, but he was proud of that football field. And he was proud of the fact that he could give something to this community that would last for a very long time. He would be amazed, and I'm sure he is amazed, at what this community has done with this school system. It is unbelievable. But, getting on, Daddy loved this school. He never coached a football team here, but he coached a whole lot of basketball. And he was recognized for that 1960 season as being the 3B Coach of the Year. So that was one of his famous and most precious accomplishments. And my husband reminded me coming down when we were cleaning out behind us. There were 3 things hanging on the wall. One was a picture of that first football team. Yeah. The second one was his Coach of the Year from that 1960 And the last one I don't have because it was his hole-in-one ball, probably where he'd be on the lyric, but that's okay. These keys also reminded me of some of the life lessons that Daddy taught me and taught my family, and I'd like to share a few of them with you.
The first thing, and several of you touched on this, is you always put God first. It's God first, then your family. After that, everything else will fall in place. And the second thing is, and I can't tell you how many times he's told me this particular phrase, you play the hand that God deals you, and you play it to the best of your ability. Now, the third thing, and he told me this back before I started my education, or my first year teaching, which has been quite a few years. But it's so funny because every time I've looked on social media lately, this has popped up. He says, when you get into a school system, you make sure that you make friends with the person who's cleaning your room. The person who is there every day to make sure your needs are met. He said, because to tell you the truth, that's the most important person in that building. You always treat everybody with respect. You value everybody. And the last little bit of wisdom I'm going to leave, you may have to go home and, as a friend of mine says, ruminate over this one. But my girls have heard it. My grandgirls have heard it. Donna's heard it. My son's heard it. And here it goes. Now think about this one. A famous Donna Staples quote that you may take with you and use with your children. Love is like the morning dew. It just soon falls on a pile of manure as it has a rose. So be careful. And finally, I'd be really remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my mother. Because God bless the spouses of coaches. They run the household. They do every dirty activity. They are the legwork. I know coaches do amazing jobs, and I have tremendous respect for anybody who can coach. But their spouses, and I saw it with my mother, they're the ones who are behind the scenes, who allow the coaches to coach. Again, from the bottom of my heart, from my family's heart, and there's a ton of us, we'd just like to thank you again for the honor that you have given us by allowing me to be in the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
I'm Ryan Brooks, and Don Staples was my grandfather. And not much more I can say that hadn't already been said about what he did, who he was as a person. So at this time, what I'd like to do is I'd like to thank Heard County. I'd like to thank the school system. Every great sergeant has to have a great army behind him. And this county, the school system, the people in this community provide a platform for my grandfather to be the man that he was. Because every great leader's got to have a platform. It doesn't matter how good a captain you are if your boat doesn't float. But this was his boat, and it was a great boat. And he planted a lot of seeds along the way. You know, and as a young man who really didn't understand what it was to be an adult now, to have my aunt, my mom, and all these people here, I can look and see what kind of seeds my grandfather planted along his walk. He was a good godly man, but he had to have a good godly community behind him, a school system that had faith. And I thank you for supporting him in that so that he could be everything he was. Thank you.
All right, guys, I'd like to thank everybody for staying with us and being patient. And thank everybody that has spent so much time and effort. But there's 3 people in here for sure. Amanda, Maggie, and Miss Kay. They work tremendously above and beyond for anything we do athletically, and they make sure that we always look like we're doing things first class, and it don't come from me. I can assure you that. But also thank you to all the people of the committee and the Board of Education and everything they did to support this. And at this time, I'd like to kind of transition just a little bit. We have one special thing that we're tagging on to the Hall of Fame this year, and it really is, it goes hand in hand because, I mean, as soon as they're eligible, they're in, I'm sure, and so because they're 2 of the best people ever played here. And you guys, got to see it, and we wanted to honor Callie and Anna and just do something for them, because a national championship, the stars have to align, that they have to stay healthy, they have to actually even be there in the first place, and then you have to have all kinds of things that go on, and that very well may never happen again. That somebody from here is a big part of the national title, and that they were. And so to be able to do that and have them here before they head back to try to win another one, we wanted to make sure that we got them here in person and not just did something for them that they could see and put a like button or a heart button and all that stuff on. We want to actually see them here. So I'm going to ask them both to come up for just a second, and then we got two parts. Once we go out right here, I'm going to go with them over to the softball field where we have a plaque that basically says, home of Callie and Anna and their class, that they graduated from Hurt County, and also that they were players on the national championship at Florida State. And that'll be encast outside of the softball press box forever. And so we wanted to make sure that they were here to see that whenever that got unveiled, and know the softball team's over there waiting on them to be there with them. And if everybody that is inducted into the Hall of Fame would make their way, once we're done here to the stadium, we would like to, conclude our activities down there. I know some people have to leave, and that's fine, but we would like to have everybody at the field house by 6:40, and that way we can get everybody lined up and everything. All right, thank you. Here's Kelly now. Maybe they're going to say something.
I know y'all been here a while, so we'll make this short. But I wanted to say congratulations to everyone who was inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight. It's really cool to hear y'all's stories and hear about other great athletes that's come through our county and really paved the way for me and Anna. So I just wanted to say congratulations and thank you for being here. I also wanted to say thank you to Brave Nation. Y'all have loved us and supported us when we got here, all throughout my high school career, Anna's high school career, and at our years at Florida State. It's so awesome to be able to look on Facebook and stuff like that and see so many people supporting us. We feel the love at Florida State. We felt it in Oklahoma. And Hurt County is a big reason for the way that we are and how we play the game. So I just wanted to say thank y'all.
Well, she just really said everything that I had to say. So, but for real, just thank you, everybody. Oh, it's that one? Okay. Just thank you to everybody who was supporting us as we went through our journey at the World Series, and to get to the World Series. It means a lot that we had our community behind our backs just supporting us every step of the way, and just congratulations to everybody who was inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's awesome. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.